Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed and we're going to do some paint pouring. Now, I've never played with this, but I've watched other people's videos and I kind of pulled supplies based on what I had and what I had available to play with. So basic setup, I'm going to use a throwaway, or I guess I could wash it, which is just an aluminum tin. I have a cup. And then these little things, I'm actually going to try it 3 separate times. So these came from when we got our table in our backyard, and they were like dividers that they put between. And I thought, well, they're nice little squares. Why not save them for something? So I have a whole bunch of them, and I found the 3 best ones. A couple of them have a little bit of a dent in a couple of places, and I'm just going to work with that. But I didn't have to waste a canvas for just playing, which is kind of what I wanted to do. Now, the other thing that I had going on with this is that there's a whole bunch of us that are doing stuff with the new Pantone color purple. One of my crafty friends, Tina Walker, is spearheading this, and she said you can create whatever you want as long as it has the violet or that new ultraviolet color. And so there's a whole series of us that are doing that. So I pulled out a couple of purple paints. This is the new color shift one I got when I was at AFCI. I had this one left over from when I went to a conference a while ago. And then I pulled out some other colors of just some random paints. I pulled out a black, I pulled out a warm blue, I pulled out a silver. And then I thought maybe I would play at the very end after it dried with some of the glitterific. And then I also got this. This is a clear gel medium. As you can see, it's really liquidy. And so I was going to start by creating some of the paints I was going to be using. And again, I'm just playing. I don't really have an agenda beyond, let's just see where we go. That's half the fun when it comes to painting. So I know when you're doing a pouring medium, this is too thick. See? There's just not enough there. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. That's probably way too much water. And then I'm going to add some of this pouring medium. It's not a pouring medium. It's actually a clear gel medium. But it was nice and loose. And then I might need to add some more paint because this is just, and I just grabbed some, see, this feels like it's too loose. I don't know, maybe not. So I'm going to add a little bit more. I've got 4 of these little plates here, so I was just going to kind of play. Some people, when they get the paints, they get massive quantities. And I'm just using what I have on hand. I don't really have an agenda. I might not use the water. I might just use the clear gel medium to go with this. So I'm going to keep mixing. I'm going to do 3 paints. Now I'm going to do the color shift one because it just looks fun. And this one, I'm just going to add the medium to. And it's just to make it a little, ooh, that still looks really pretty. It's not changing the color of it. So sometimes when you put something in with a paint, it might change the tone or the color of the paint, and that's not what I'm going for. I just want it to make it pourable, as you can see right here. See? See how pourable that is? And I'm using these little cups because I just have a ton of them. And then let's go with the silver. This one's still got some clumps in it. This was more of a heavy-bodied paint, this guy right here. And so it took a little bit more for me to mix it, which is fine. Now, some people like to use gloves when they do this. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so one of the methods that I've seen, it was called the Puddle method, and that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to come back maybe with some of the black and just add black spots, and same with that blue that I have here. After I get kind of the puddle method going. So the puddle method is where you put a little bit here, put a little bit there. I'm going to come in with the lighter purple, and you pour it into itself, just like that. And then I think I'm going to add maybe a drop of black in there. Oops, gotta shake it up first. A little bit of black in there, just a little tiny bit. Maybe a little blob over here. This is pretty thick, so it's not going to work as well. And then I'm going to add some of that silver. Maybe a little tiny drop of this warm blue. The colors that just kind of go well. Some of these are a little thicker than others. So we're just going to see what happens. Now it's just a matter of moving it to where you want it. Shifting it around, playing. These blues aren't moving, so maybe I'm going to come in and having some fun with it. I think I'm going to add some more of the purple in here because I really am supposed to get that purple color as a, I'm going to swirl that in because that's our main color tone. And there you go. Oh, I missed one little spot. I think I'm just going to take my fingers and just kind of hit. It's supposed to just really kind of have that rough look. Now, I moved it around a ton, which is why you're seeing all the swirls. Some people like that look. Some people think that's like, well, you didn't add enough paint. So let's try another one. I'm going to actually mix a little bit more paint so I can pour more paint onto my thing. In the meantime, I'm going to put this off to the side. This is why some people wear gloves. I'm not going to bother. Okay, this is why I like using these particular little guys, is because I have a ton of them. All right, I think I have enough silver, but I'm going to add some more. And I'm definitely going to add some more of this to all of them. It's giving me a lot. It's pushing my paint quite a bit further without having to use a ton of my paint, which is kind of cool. And I'm going to add a ton. This one I think I'm just going to leave with the purple, the silver, and the two purples and the silver, just to see what happens. I'm happy I put my craft mat down because it's messy. All right, so I'm going to start off with a nice, I'm going to do three of them. I'm going to do a big puddle here. Start with that color first. A big puddle here. I'm changing up the colors, and a big puddle here. I'm going to come in and add this one here, and this one here. And then finish it off with the opposite colors. And you can see it's already starting to run off a little bit, which is cool. So look at the difference already, just because I added more paint and I don't have to move it around. You definitely get some different feelings. Now, I've got some spots right in here. I wanted to have more movement this way. Cool. Now these definitely take some time to dry, so not going to be immediately drying. I want a little bit more movement here. So you just kind of move it around until you feel like you're done. You know, some people spin them. Yeah, that's cool. I think I'm happy with that. So again, move it off to the side. Now I want to do one more technique. I kind of saw this one too, and I'm going to pull out my heat gun for that one, and then we'll let this guy dry. All right, so I'm going to do a different one where I'm going to create one giant puddle in the middle. Start with that. Come in with this. Move it around a little bit. Come in with this color. And finish it off with a little bit of this. Now I'm going to take my heat gun to it and move things around and see what happens. I need to tip it a little bit this way just to get some of the paint in that corner. There we go. And then I'm going to keep on heating it because there's some really cool, people call them cells, and I don't know if these are true cells. Again, I'm an amateur when it comes to doing this stuff, but to me, this is kind of one of those, you really can't go wrong on what you create because they're all kind of cool. So it's just playing. So as I sit there and heat it up, it's pulling up some of the colors underneath. That's kind of cool. Now I was just pushing it around and seeing what was going to happen. Now I'm going to do really quickly, just kind of pour off some of the excess get some kind of fun lines on here. I can really see some of that color shift stuff in there, and it's really fun. That's cool. I'm liking that one. All right, I got to shift over. I'm running out of room. Now I have just a tiny bit of paint left. So we're going to see what we can get out of the last one. I thought maybe I would do some of the glitter stuff in there too, just for fun. Grins and giggles. So I'm going to take a big plop, and I'm actually going to add it into my silver. So this is not what this is meant for, but I'm just, again, having fun, just playing around. So I'm just taking a big old plop of this glitter one, putting it in here and adding some more of this medium in here, just to loosen it up a bit. Again, it's not what it's truly meant for. I'm going to put my last board up here. This board had a lot more creaks and cracks in it, which is fine. Oh, that's the wrong color. Oh, they're all messed up. It's going to have a little purple in it. All right, really get that glitter. It's not going to have that much of a difference. Something about the purple and the silver, I'm kind of digging it. All right, so I'm going to start, and I'm just going to put the rest of the paint on here. And again, I'm doing the puddle method. There is a ton of different methods out there from one of the videos I saw. And they're all really cool. There's really no rhyme or reason. Some people, there's ones where you can like splatter it around. The puddle is where you're really adding more color and layers into itself. And that's the end of my paint. This one we're just going to tilt and have fun. Actually, I'm going to do a little just to pull some of those bottom colors in. Otherwise, it's just going to, look at that. And we should get some of that chunks of glitter. So every pour you do, and this one's going to have some massive glittery effect going on in here because there's glitter all through it, which I think is pretty fun. So every single one you do is going to look a little different based on just what you add, what you play with, how you pour it, whether or not you add heat to it, how much you move it around. It's all about just playing, which I think is cool. So there you go. And now I can see all those little chunks of glitter. I just want to get in this last little corner. This one's a little harder trying to get to the corners because the board was a little bit warped in some places, but yeah, I think that's absolutely cool. It's not a big deal that my board is warped. It just adds to the dimension. And so every single one is different. I'm going to put this off to the side again, let it dry. And then I got a ton of cleaning up to do. I mean, look at this. I'm almost tempted because this is just like all the paint in here. I feel like this is just like wasted paint. Like I almost want to do something with that. Okay, so I thought of an ingenious idea with all this fun paint in here. I'm always looking to make ATC cards, and so ATCs are basically the size of a playing card. And these are playing cards that are just so mixed and matched. They're cards I don't care about. I specifically use them for that. So I thought, well, why can't I turn these into, paint them up. I really only have to do one side. You know what? For the other ones I am, because how else am I going to lay it down? So I'm just going to lay this right here. I'm just going to do the one side. I'm going to do the face side. I'm going to lay them in. That's kind of stupid to do both sides. And then lay it off to the side here. I'm actually going to lay it on my craft mat. So I'm going to pull this off and lay them on my craft mat. I'm going to continue doing the rest of these. I'm going to make myself some more room. I'm running out of room. Okay, so I just put my paint off to the side here. I got a lot of cleaning up to do. This is not a clean craft by any stretch. I can see why people put gloves on, but I don't care if I get my hands messy. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my playing card, pull it out, let it kind of drip dry for a second, get that excess paint off, and then lay it off to the side, let it dry. I'm going to do that for the rest of these cards. Now, for some reason, some of the cards, and it probably has to do with the type of paper that the card is made out of, like these ones are taking it, but this one is just repelling it like no tomorrow. I'm going to try one more time to see if I can get it to get something, and then I'm going to heat set these guys. Alright, so there's a lot of drying time. The paint's starting to kind of make a pull up and do its thing, and I got to add some more paint in certain places. So it may work, it may not. It was one of those things that it can't hurt. I got all this paint in here that I can't try. I could also try regular paper, so let's try that. Pull out all my craft mats. Alright, so all I have is a sheet of paper that I'm going to, and it still has a knife and a playing card in here, but that's fine. And I'm just going to lay this in here just to see what I can get out of it. And I'm not too worried if it doesn't get saturated with the paint everywhere. And then pull this guy out. It's almost kind of like a mono printing something. And then just let it kind of drip dry. And then this whole thing is probably going to go in the trash. It takes a lot of paint to do this particular technique. And I've almost used up my entire bottle of clear gel. So I might got one more scenario, but this was just a fun way of kind of playing with this concept of the ultraviolet color in a fun way, getting my purple on for the new Pantone color. And let this guy dry too. So I got some coverage in some spots, and then I can cut this up or do what I want with this. And I still have paint left. Now, some of these cards don't look like they're going to go anywhere, but I know we'll see. We'll see what happens. I might end up cutting this up to make some ATCs. It was just to kind of let's just play and see what happens. And I probably needed to prime these particular cards before I did anything with them because they're too slick. This paint is not wanting to stick with it, especially after I put the clear gel in there. So it did fine on these because they're cardboard, so it was a little porous. It's wanting to kind of absorb into it, and I added enough paint that it's absorbing in, which is great. And then same with the paper, it's going to absorb it in. All right, so I just wanted to come back and show you what these guys look like once they started getting closer to drying. They're not pouring off anymore. I took my heat gun to all of them and really started drying them. So this, let me go try and remember what the order is. The first one is, this is the one that I had the blue, and you can see those little grains of blue in there. The purple's not showing up as well as a purple. It really looks a whole lot better in purple, but there's still shots showing up right now. And the second one I did, I believe I think this was the second one that I did. Yeah, because it's got bigger clumps of the purple in it. So this is where I did the 3 pours on there. Look at that, isn't that cool? And here's a still shot. And this is the one where I just dumped a big giant puddle in the middle and had some fun, and then used my heat gun to go all around the edges with it. It's really cool. And this is the one where I added the glitter, and it's got the little bit of the corner that was bent. So you can really kind of see there's a few little glitter flakes that are in there. You can see those kind of showing up every now and then, little spots of glitter. So then I went in with my my playing cards, and I just added the paint to them. I also took the heat gun. As you can tell, things are not 100% dry yet. I took the heat gun and really went well. Some of them I got them to really kind of warp and crinkle. I think it's kind of fun. And then some of them I left patches of empty space in there just for cools. I mean, this one doesn't have as much as the swirling effect because this is where I dipped it into the paint at the very, very end. The last one, I had some fun with it. So this was the sheet of paper, and this was a cardstock, and it's really still quite flimsy because it's covered in paint. It will harden up when I let it sit overnight. But basically what I did, and again, it's showing up more blue than purple, probably because it's getting dark outside. I went ahead and covered the whole thing with paint. I just took my finger and just, not touching anything, I just went through and I made fun designs. You can see some swirls in here. And then I took my paper towel and I paper toweled it all over to give it all these cool kind of fun designs on here. And so that's where this came from. And so it just needs to finish drying. That's it. Those are the kind of fun things. 4 different types of pours. I mean, they're all the puddle method, but 4 different pours of how I placed it, how much paint, what colors of paint, whether or not I added glitter, different amounts of puddles, 1 giant puddle, whether or not I used my heat gun, and then using some of the rest of the paint, there was still some left, to create some of this other fun stuff. So thanks for stopping by and checking out my fun little idea for using paint pouring, using supplies I personally had. Supplies are listed down below, so don't forget to check those out, and I will see you guys again later, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.